It's funny, isn't it? How the past has this way of sneaking up on you, like a shadow that refuses to let go. We were good together once, or at least that's what I thought. In the beginning, it felt like we were everything. Passionate, intense, and maybe even a little too obsessed with each other. The way you'd pull me close, the way your hands always seemed to find their way to me. It was like we were tangled in each other's worlds, and I didn't want it any other way. But somewhere along the way, things shifted. The love turned possessive. The sweet gestures became suffocating, and the spark that once burned bright started to feel like a dangerous flame. I remember that night when you pinned me to the bed. It wasn't the passion anymore, it was power. You always knew how to get under my skin, how to make me feel like I was losing control, and even as I wanted to pull away, something in me didn't want to. It's like your touch had a hold on me, something that went deeper than just the physical. Every time I tried to pull away, you'd bring me right back in, making it impossible to forget what we had, or what you made me think we had. The tension between us, the back and forth. It was like a drug. You'd push me away, and then the next moment, I'd crave you all over again. It was toxic, yes, but it was addictive. The way you looked at me, the way you trapped me with your eyes, with your body. And I couldn't help but wonder, could it be love? Or was it something darker? But here I am now, looking back, wondering if I ever truly escaped. You were always so sure of yourself, so confident, like you knew exactly how to pull me back in. And even now, there's a part of me that misses that intensity, that feeling, the way you could take control and make everything else in the world disappear. But I know better now. I know the price of that kind of power, and I'm learning how to let go. And yet, even now, there are moments when I find myself caught between the past and the present. It's strange, isn't it? How someone's presence can still haunt you long after they've gone. Sometimes I catch myself reliving those moments, those fleeting instances when your hands would grip me, your breath on my skin, and for a second, I almost forget the hurt. Almost. But then I remember how everything came crashing down, how I had to fight to break free from the grip of something that felt so much like love, but was really just manipulation. You used to think that keeping me close would keep me, but it only made me want to escape. And yet, a part of me still wonders if that rush of wanting something so badly, even if it's toxic, was ever real. Maybe it's the adrenaline. Maybe it's just the memory of feeling something so powerful. But I know I'm better than that now. I know I deserve more than just a moment of weakness, more than just the chaos. And then there are the dreams. You know, the ones that sneak up on me in the quiet of the night. In those moments, it's like you never left. I can feel the weight of your body on top of mine, hear your voice in my ear, telling me everything's going to be okay, when we both know it never was. It's so easy to fall back into that illusion, that world where everything felt like it was burning hot and passionate, but was really just us fighting for control. I close my eyes and I can almost feel the pull of your energy, the way you trap me in that moment, making me believe I was still the only one you wanted. And yet, waking up from that is like a cold splash of reality. I know the truth. I know that kind of love isn't love at all. It was just a game, but it doesn't make the memories any less powerful. The heart knows what it craves, even if the mind knows better. But there's a part of me that wonders, if you ever really let go, if you ever really understood the damage you cause, or if you're still out there thinking you can just come back and pick up where we left off. The thought of you trying to get close again sends a shiver down my spine, but also a rush. It's strange how that old pull still lingers, how a small part of me might want to give in, to feel that intensity again, even if it's only for a moment. Because with you, it was never just about love. It was about power, control, and this undeniable chemistry that kept me addicted to the chaos. But I know better now. I know that I deserve someone who chooses me, who loves me without the games, without the manipulation. The pull might be there, but this time I won't fall for it. I'm stronger than that now, even if the temptation is hard to ignore. And maybe that's the hardest part of all. Letting go of the idea of us. The fantasy of what we could have been if things hadn't turned toxic. You were everything I thought I needed at one point. Your touch, your words, your promises, they felt so real, and I can still feel the echoes of that intensity when I close my eyes. But I've learned that intensity isn't always love. Sometimes it's just a storm, a whirlwind of emotions that burns bright and fast, only to leave you standing in the aftermath. And that's where I am now, in the quiet, the calm after the chaos. It's a slow, painful process, but every day I feel a little further from the person I used to be when you had me pinned. I'm learning that my worth isn't tied to the heat of that moment. It's in the peace I'm starting to find within myself. And as much as it hurts to admit, that peace is worth more than any toxic connection we ever had. But there's still this weight, this lingering thought that sometimes creeps into my mind. What if I never truly escape the shadow of us? What if I carry this sense of wanting, of needing something so intense for the rest of my life? It's almost like I'm caught between the past and the future, unable to fully move on. And when I'm alone, I feel that ache, the memory of your hands holding me down, your voice low in my ear, the way you'd control the moment as if you knew how badly I craved it. And maybe that's what hurts the most, knowing that part of me will always remember you that way. But I can't keep pretending that the pain was worth it. That kind of love, It's not love, it's just a lesson. A painful, messy lesson that I'm finally learning to let go of, one day at a time. And even though it feels like I'm still fighting you in my mind, I know I'm stronger than before. I'm moving forward, even when it feels impossible. And sometimes, even when I think I've let go, I catch myself wondering, what if you came back? What if you showed up at my door looking the way you always did, with that familiar confidence that made everything feel so electrifying? I'd be lying if I said the thought didn't make my heart race, if I didn't feel that old pull inside me. There's something about you, something that still manages to stir me, even after all this time. But then I remember the cost of that pull. I remember the lies, the manipulation, the way you trapped me in a cycle that only ever brought pain. And I wonder, can we ever truly escape the hold someone like you has on us? Or do we just learn to live with it, knowing we'll never fall for the same trap again? I'm not sure, but one thing is clear. I'm not the same person I was when you pinned me down. I'm not the one who'll let you have that kind of power over me anymore. But here I am, standing on my own 2 feet, stronger than I've ever been before. It's hard to let go of the things that once made me feel alive, even when they weren't good for me. But I've learned that real power doesn't come from controlling or being controlled. It comes from choosing yourself, choosing peace over chaos. The past may still haunt me sometimes, but it doesn't define me anymore. And as tempting as it might be to fall back into old patterns, I know I'm worth more than that. I'm learning to love myself, to trust myself, and to never let anyone, especially you, have that kind of hold over me again. The door is closed, and this time is locked, and I'm